Welcome back to another episode of this very short series that I have been working on for the past, I guess, 2 months. I'm not really sure. I need to work more on my channel. But besides that, welcome back to Crazy Creations. I still need to change the name. Please let me know if I should do that. But in today's video, we shall be seeing another old drawing being traced over to become something more beautiful, caterpillar style. And if it wasn't obvious by the very small similarities between my drawing and the original one, this concept came about was my idea for if Ben10 aliens were Transformers. This one being Forearms, one of the original 10 and icons of the Ben10 era, alongside aliens such as Feedback, Alien X, and the rest of the 50 plus aliens that Ben actually has. I myself grew up on a lot of the Ben 10 episodes and shows, as well as my favorite of the Transformers series is Transformers Prime. Having these two franchises in my life in general has, just sparked a lot of very interesting ideas and will most likely be some of the basis for this channel, as well as other concepts inspired by other shows that I have grown up upon. So yeah. If you are someone I know who has subscribed to my channel, please spread the word. And if you're, just stumbling across it on YouTube, just randomly, just going about your life, please subscribe, share it to someone else, and you can, see how you feel about the channel in the future. Now, on the design side of this drawing, I was a little bit confused when I first drafted the Autobot. Well, not exactly Autobot, but you get the idea. I was confused on how I would do it because I didn't really understand vehicles that much back then. On top of that, I also wanted to make it seem more natural, sort of natural for the Transformers, like how they have a form they had before they came to Earth. I tried to make it a lot similar to that. My main inspiration was the designs from the video game Transformers War for Cybertron and the other one of that similar title, but not the exact same game. If you know what I'm talking about, comment on it and give me the name so I can, find a way to actually play the game, because that thing is simply great. But in addition to struggling with how the robot mode would clash with the vehicle mode, I didn't know what weapons I would give him, let alone where they would fit. So this thing is just very all around the place. And when I was busy designing it, I realized that my worry about the actual appearance of it was actually hindering and limiting how good the thing would have turned out, and taking time out of the drawing of the actual piece. So I decided to just draw a robot with some vehicle bits, just to make it seem Transformer-like, because let's be honest, Transformers do somewhat just look like robots with car parts. Please mind the right foot of this drawing, because I realized that I didn't really know how I was going to draw it in the position I wanted to draw it as. So I just drew just to get the drawing done, so that I didn't have to worry about it that much. So yeah. Halfway through the drawing, I realized that I was focusing too much on the robot bits and not enough on the transformer bits. Again, this is back when I first drew it. And then I sort of had to cram in somewhat design-wise aspects of Four Arms himself into the design, and I honestly think it worked out really well, especially with the wiring I decided to do for between the joints, because I did not know how to like connect the segmented limbs parts of it. And I did this for the joints by the legs and arms, as well as torso, and I sort of did something different with the neck, but again, I just did. There wasn't a lot of structure to this one other than the base thing I was working off of. Now, with the concept of Ben 10 and Transformers alone, I thought of a few lore bits that would sort of not connect them story-wise from their individual stories connected into one, but more of a like if like there was a replacement, like if Ben 10 was in the universe already, and then he found like the Omnitrix equivalent that would sort of turn him into a Transformer, so to speak. Because I mean, the Ink Tank have actually said that Ben can turn into a Transformer, so it wouldn't be out of the ordinary. But this is not exactly the Ben 10 we know and love. This is like an alternate version of him that sort of lives and was already like born into the universe of Transformers. In this reality, Earth and Cybertron are much closer together, and I would say this is because due to the actual war of Cybertron, the planet somehow shifted away from its natural solar system throughout the entire galaxy, which then led to it sort of like crashing into or eating. I'm gonna stick to crashing into other planets that have alien life forms, which then, as the war and generations went by, sort of merged them into newer, more quote-unquote evolved Transformers with different varying abilities based on the different species that the planet had actually crashed into. This would therefore make it possible for me to like do Transformers things with other topics, not only Ben 10 aliens, but like topics like Star Wars, Alien, the Predator, and any other alien-based show or franchise that you can think of. For how the quote-unquote Omnitrix or Cybertrix, as I'm going to call it for the rest of this video, I would say that it was sort of like made by a like Cybertronian Galvan thing that would be this world's equivalent to Azimuth, and that he tries sending it down hoping that a human would actually try and fix the problem, which also leads me to say that maybe this is like a second World War for the Cybertronians, like how here historically speaking we have World War I and World War II. This would be like their equivalent to that. This being said, I would say that Azimuth was born just after, making like a baby boomer version of a Transformer, sort of, and that he had heard tales of how Optimus Prime and the rest of the Autobots, who I'm going to say are now deceased, how they had helped the world and how they used the help from humans to do so. Therefore, he, being the logical scientist himself, decides to take a risk in rumor and fantasy just to end a very bloody war. This would then lead him to create the Cybertrix and then shoot it down to Earth, hoping to find like an experienced member of like the government to like help them out or try and get involved. Seeing as communications would have gone down between Cybertron and Earth due to the war itself. But unfortunately for Azimuth, this would then lead it to get into the hands of this world's young Ben Tennyson, which would then find it and then use it to go on his exploits before he even figures out the true purpose of the watch. Lore-wise, I'd want this to go with the actual series. So I'd say that the first 4 aliens he turns into would be the same as in that episode, like the Heat Blast, Wild Mud, Diamond Head, and Accelerate. But then it would also, go work the same as in the next episode, with the second 4 aliens being shown in that episode being Heat Blast, Gray Matter, Forearms, and Stinkfly. So I figured that this would be in the episode 2 equivalent to this metaphorical story that we are building, concocting, creating, whatever fancy little word in the English dictionary you choose to use for it. And that he would be going up against a mammoth-like creature or something. There probably will be a few retcons here and there because I'm still very early into this channel and I'm very nervous on what the juice it is I am doing. So yeah, into this part of the story, I believe this is where I get to the actual brainstorming on how this Cybertronian forearms would actually work. My original concept idea for it would be for him to transform into a taxi, not like the taxis you see in New York, but more in South Africa, a kumbi. Oh gosh, I am not built with the South African accent in me, so I don't know how to say it, but I'm going to say it in my very American-like accent, as I have been told. But yeah, we usually call them kombis or taxis or whatever. I'm just going to say, since this is in America, I would change it from kombi to a minivan or something. And in terms of his abilities, he would have the same ones as a regular Tetramance fused with a Cybertronian. And in addition, he would have certain naturally built-in features that would complement those, like his super strength. Which is why I gave his wrist areas little spike things so that he could retract his hands within, and then it would be easier for him to hold up stuff he would be carrying. For example, a mutant mammoth, so to speak, or a whatever it is Forearms carries in the show. Okay, look, I only watched the episodes for the first season, so I don't really remember everything that Forearms would have faced in the show. So I think. And as I was redrawing this version of the original Forearms, hold on, my brain's lagging now. The original Forearms Transformer, I decided to put laser blasters in his in the space where his hands would have disappeared into those spiked, I think grip, I don't know what I call them, but those things that I just said earlier that helped him to hold things up. I decided to build lasers into those things because it's not a transformer if it doesn't have lasers. So yeah. Got around to actually drawing the head of it. I was drawing blanks, and so I decided to make it a basic visor thing with an almost extended black mohawk on his head to symbolize that line Forearm has going on his face, so to speak. And also, fun little tip, when I was busy doing the coloring phase of it, I noticed how I had forgotten to actually draw the Omnitrix. So, whoops. But then I added that in later, still in the drawing. In the video, I mean. In the video, I mean. But, yeah, I think that's all I have to say about the actual drawing process. So let's get into the coloring. Oh, never mind, I was corrected. Never mind. I thought I added the Omnitrix when I was coloring it. I added it when I was busy in this stage, so. Yay! I did not forget the Omnitrix, or Cybertrix as I called it in this video. When I was redrawing the actual limbs of it, I decided to make them a lot more blocky than I originally had with the original traditional drawing that I had done. And I honestly think that worked out really well with the drawing. My brain is lagging again. It's probably best for me to say now that for the audio, I probably will still be, giving the most chopped product I can, because I don't really have a mic. So please bear with me. Also, if I am mumbling in some of these, some of the clips somewhere here and there within the video, it's mainly because I am not used to actually speaking at my regular voice loudly, so that is also something I'm gonna have to get used to. And yeah, that's basically all I can say about the audio. Have any better ideas of what this guy could actually turn into? Just let me know. And yet again, I say in the comments. And sorry if this is getting a little bit repetitive and annoying just to say in the comments all the time. I still am a very new YouTuber, so yeah. Another important feature I wanted to add to the actual robot of it would be like that his arms can sort of like fold into each other, like say he has an original one set of arms, and that whenever he needs to, he can like pop, like sort of like open up one of his arms and then just like drop the other one down so that he can use them for whatever purpose he needs to use them for. Like Stitch. You all know who Stitch is, right? Right? And now the moment that I have been stalling for this entire video. I have been waiting and waiting for the coloring part of this thing impatiently. So yeah. With the colors, I decided to spread them out in almost evenly, giving all the parts that would be lighted, like most of the parts that would be lighted, an almost orange glow, while giving most of the parts a red color to them. And also kept some parts white, sort of as a homage to, the original series uniforms that they had going on. If you understand what I am talking about, please tell me. And for the wires, just made them gray. In addition to any other bits that I just added while coloring, I just straight up made them like a lighter gray. Also, another fun fact: there's supposed to be like a scar going across the character's mouth, but I decided to not do that purely for time. That was a failed effort. Yeah. And towards the end, when I did the shading and the quote unquote lighting, or like the thing is that the reflections, I decided to cut that part out purely for time. Another failed effort, but one that I will consider in the future. And as a final conclusion, a summary to this entire thing, I would like to speak about how often I fought with the lighting when I was busy doing the integrated lasers, as I mentioned earlier in the video. That, I don't know what happened when I was busy doing this. My device was legit just tweaking at me 24/7 whenever I was doing this. So yeah. But overall, I think I did a really good job with the drawing. And honestly, if you have any tips or whatever on how I can make these videos like better, just let me know in the comment section, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Have a good day, and this is Crazy Creations signing off.